Hello, my name is Jeff Turner, and today I want to give you an overview of my portfolio project called Music Historeum. Music Historeum is a React site I created initially just to keep track of music chart data from the late 50s up until today. I have some other features since then that I'm looking at adding, and so I'm looking at building this site out, but let me give you an overview of what is currently in place. So I have this introductory information here, and below that, I have the top 10 songs and albums for the current week. These songs are based off of Billboard's Hot 100 Singles Chart and Top 200 Albums Chart. If you want to select a specific chart, you can go back in time here. I'll go here to Top Songs. We'll say Weekly. I'm just going to kind of go back here, 1988, maybe March 12th, and lo and behold, we've been Rickrolled. It's Rick Astley at number 1 with Never Gonna Give You Up. But this is the basic navigation when I come in. I've got, I list the top 20 by default. You can show anywhere from 10 to 50. You can page through the results. You can do a search/filter on either the song or the artist. I can go to the previous week's chart, or the next week's chart, or I can look at, select from a calendar. Also, here's an example of a yearly chart. Now, my yearly and decade charts, I have the two columns added: the peak, the highest position it reached, and the number of weeks it was on the chart. Now, my monthly, yearly, and decade charts are based off of a custom algorithm I have based on the underlying data. So that those rankings don't come from any other source. It's based off of other sources, but the final result is based on my own calculation. Now, if I click on an artist in here, and there it takes me to Bruno Mars chart history. So this shows all his charted songs in the Hot 100 singles or the top 200 albums, and kind of this timeline view. If you go to the main artist page, I've kind of got a list of some of the best-selling artists of all time that you can select from, or there's alphanumeric navigation where you can find any specific artist that you're looking for. I do have a contact form built into the page, and the nice thing with the contact form is I have it set up to email me, so when someone sends me information, I'll get it via email, can know that I've gotten this feedback, can work with it. If they've got some ideas on things to add, maybe something they see that doesn't seem quite right. So that's there. I do hope to, in the future, add some additional features, maybe a user login to create custom charts, playlist, to interface with online music libraries, local music libraries. But let me go ahead and just touch briefly on kind of the code base here. So I'm using the Pern stack. My database is PostgreSQL, and I was populating that database using Python scripts. I have Express as my server in the middle, handles the REST interface, handles talking to the database and with the front end through the REST interface. I use SQL calls to get data from the database. So here's kind of some of my REST endpoints. So chart list, here's some artist list stuff, artist chart history, getting a specific chart, and also my contact information. This kind of handles, I'm using a library called NodeMailer to send my email. I did use several different libraries. I used React as kind of a base. I used Redux. But then I pulled in a few for my table. I used one called React Table. There's React Chrono, which handles my timeline, and React Date Picker for my date picker that I have on my charts. And that was definitely sometimes work to kind of figure out how I need to do stuff around, how they wrap things. In some cases, I liked how they did it. In other cases, there's at least one that I might actually replace because I just feel like I could get something a little bit better for what I'm trying to do. But overall, I definitely learned a lot. One interesting thing I learned is I was using browser router, and I found when I actually put it up on a hosting site that some things didn't load as I expected, particularly if I needed to reload. And so I actually changed it to a hash router, which worked much better. But even with that, I found one interesting thing is that If I wanted to reload a chart page, wouldn't. It wanted to load a default value, so I found I had to use session storage. And so session storage allowed me to save off the chart before the reload, and then after the reload, load it back in. So I was right back where I was at. But then here's where I, make my call to my table. But overall, I really learned a lot. I still have a lot of data cleaning I need to do to get this, to do some of the other things I'd like to do. But overall, as I said, I've learned a lot. I want to thank Nucamp just for really giving me this extra motivation to take this project that's been in my head for a long time and bringing it to life. And I look forward to applying the things that I've learned to other projects and into my career as I move into web development. So thank you, Nucamp.